Hey guys, so I did not make an intro to this video. It was very spur of the moment and it was very intuitive. I had just done a Canvo session and this was post session of some messages that have come through. I am making a whole nother video on my experience from that, so stay tuned for that. But I just wanted to capture some of the things that were going on inside my mind, and this is that video. So hopefully you guys find this big message inspirational, or maybe it's, you know, what you needed to hear in the moment if you've come across this video. So with that being said, let's just get started. People struggle with so much with what they want to do with their life, or things that they question, different paths that they want to go in, or their purpose. It truly does not matter. There is no right or wrong way to do life. Like, you literally cannot do life wrong, guys. And the judgment that we hold is the only judgment that there is on ourselves. We create the resistance. There is no set path that God, universe, whatever, it wants the highest path for us, but there could be many different paths that we take, and we have the free will to do so. And people get so hung up because they don't know which path to take, and so they get scared, and then they don't ever take a damn path. And then so they're stuck. They don't know which way to go. They don't know which way is right. They overthink themselves. Just make the damn move and you will find which way works for you. Ultimately, there is no wrong way to do life. So that's kind of like the message that I got. Either way, it was going to work out, but there was a higher road that I could take. You feel into these things. You feel what it looks like, and you get knowings. You know internally what is right, and people just waffle on that so much because they don't trust their intuition. I was so tuned in today, guys, that like it's hard. Words are gonna be hard to explain what I saw and what I felt. And what I mean by this is I was waffling between dimensions, and everything was happening at one time, and I felt the way that I was thinking. I was bringing forth an energy with a thought into my body, and my reality shifted according to that thought and that energy. So I was shifting between timelines of, okay, if I do this, this is what's going to happen. This is the way I'm going to feel. And then I shifted, and my reality totally shifted with it. And then I'm like, no, I really don't like the way I feel about that. And so I thought a different thought, and then my reality shifted, and I liked the way that I felt. And so I was at a higher frequency, and then I could create a reality around that. Every action that you create from a frequency of the way that you feel is going to be the reality that you design. It's going to be the timeline that you're on. Timelines shift constantly based upon your thoughts and your feelings. Thoughts and feelings create your reality, essentially. I think that's the best way that I can describe it. I don't know how else to describe the fact that I understood how powerful my thoughts were creating my reality, and I could shift with just a thought. It doesn't have to be just thinking about your future. It could be just like how you're feeling in the moment. Say you're feeling very down and very depressed about something in your life. Let's just go with a breakup or something like that. You could feel very depressed. That will shift your reality to being a depressive person, to having issues with relationships moving forward. If you stay in that frequency or that vibration, even if you don't feel the sadness still, because eventually like it will fade over time, the habits and the thoughts and the framework that you pretty much pick up in this frequency will stay with you, and it will be buried in your subconscious. And then therefore moving forward in every freaking relationship that you get in to your life, you will recreate the same vibration of your previous relationship, and it will just look different. It may not be the same scenario, but you may have different case scenarios, but ultimately the same frequency is trying to show you the same pain point per se, or learning lesson per se, is trying to show you and teach you something about relationships that it's wanting you to heal before you can actually have a successful relationship. And I do this because ultimately nothing is right or wrong. It just is. And you're the one basing judgment upon it. So the frequency is telling you what you're thinking. Say you had a breakup, and say now you have trust issues because somebody cheated on you, right? And you never fully processed it. You somehow held on to the fact that you weren't good enough, or that you should have done something differently, or that every man is a cheater, or now, you get what I'm saying. But you don't properly deal with it and let the energy go and understand that it's not you, it's the other person's pain points, or you know what I'm saying? There could be plenty of which ways that you spin the story or tell yourself, but ultimately you're hanging on to the storyline. It's going to show up in your next relationship. It's a point of being. We always create from a point of being, a frequency, and that is where everything is happening in the moment. We can plan out like our future. We can have like this divine plan. You know, we want successful relationships. We like want to do these things with our lives. Like for me, for example, I have a dream and I am like, okay, I have to do this, this, and this to get there. Ultimately, all of that can change. All of it can change. I could have this grand idea in my head and I could set forth an energy in motion, but if I keep either changing my mind and being unsure of what is the like correct action to take to get to where I want to be, or I'm not quite sure like what my dream should look like, if I overanalyze it, like I'm missing in the present moment. I'm missing the action that I need to take now. You create in the present. You set forth an intention and you let go of expectations of what you think something should look like. And you're shot on this timeline pretty much. And then you're going about on this timeline and you're taking action from this certain vibration, and it's leading you closer and closer and closer to your outcome of what you think you want. And sometimes that may change and it may shift you to another timeline that you're like, oh, well, actually, no, I don't want that. I want this instead. But you didn't know that you wanted this other thing until you actually took the journey to the thing you thought you wanted. So then you shift to another timeline, but you have to take action in the present moment. If you overthink it, if you overanalyze it, you're not going to make movements. You're just going to stay stuck and stagnant because you'll keep shifting your mind way too much and not actually taking action and remaining stuck. So you never really make any traction or movement. Ultimately, like if you take anything away from this long ass message that I'm sending right now, just take action. Take action, because that's ultimately you saying yes to the universe. You're saying yes. You are moving in a direction. When you are moving somewhere, you're evolving, you're growing, you're pushing yourself. And movement is life. Stagnation is death. Do not stay comfortable in your comfort zone. Take risk. Just make movements forward, because ultimately it's not wrong. You cannot fail. You just have to take action from a point of vibration that's for your highest, meaning love. When you make decisions in the highest vibration for yourself, you will create that reality. When you have things that happen like this, and energy work and healings and any kind of like this type of work that you do, it's hard to put words to feelings and experiences because it's all felt within the individual. Nobody else feels it besides you, because you are the universe. Everything is happening to you, and this is where people have spiritual experiences. And the whole point of energy work is, or these things that we embark in, these healings, is because they provide these experiences for people, and they're real. It is real because it's happening physically to somebody. This is where the people who haven't had these experiences, that they're like, this is woo-woo, this is bullshit, whatever. It's because they haven't had a physical experience with the energy, with spirit, with themselves. Until you have that will be when you wake up. And you will never, ever be the same. You can never go back after what you've seen and what you've experienced, what you know, when you do it physically, when you feel it internally. Because everything's happening within you. So, anyway. Have I convinced you to do energy work? Maybe you think I'm crazy. Maybe I am.